วันนี้เป็นวันอาทิตย์ค่ะวันอาทิตย์ที่31กรกฎาคม2565เราเพิ่งสวดมนต์ให้กับคุณพ่อของเนนนะคะชื่อคุณเมธีมัธยาตน่าจะเป็นสกุลเก่าที่นครอยากจะพูดถึงนครศรีธรรมราชเป็นมณฑลใหญ่เป็นมณฑลใหญ่จากนครศรีธรรมราชปากใต้นะคะขึ้นมาเนี่ยไม่มีมณฑลอื่นที่ใหญ่ในระดับเดียวกันนะคะจนกระทั่งมาถึงมณฑลนครชัยศรีนะคะถ้าเรารู้จักประวัติศาสตร์เราจะรู้ว่าสมัยโบราณเนี่ยจังหวัดนครปฐมเนี่ยไม่ใช่จังหวัดใหญ่แต่ไปใหญ่ที่มณฑลนครชัยศรีนะคะจะเห็นว่านครศรีธรรมราชนครชัยศรีนครศรีธรรมราชเป็นมณฑลใหญ่ที่มีอำนาจในตัวเองในสมัยนั้นนะคะเมื่อสมเด็จพระเจ้าตากสินทรงสละราชสมบัตินะคะเสด็จไปที่นครจะเห็นถึงความสัมพันธ์และความสำคัญของนครศรีธรรมราชนะคะวันนี้หลวงแม่ขออนุญาตพูดถึงเรื่องอื่นคือในชั้นเรียนเมื่อวานเนี้ยพูดถึงเรื่องของรพินทรนาถเถากูลแล้วยังไม่ได้พูดต่อนะคะขออนุญาตเป็นภาษาอังกฤษนะคะวันนี้I would like to talk about Rabindranath Tagore or in Pali it would be Thakur T-H-A T with a dot underneath Thakur K-U-R Thakur that would be a proper name for Rabindranath Tagore. He was born 1860 and he died 1940. I remember very well because I remembered from my own year of birth that he died 4 years before I was born. That was easy for me to remember. I would like to talk about him and particularly his work. His work is known as Gitanjali. Of course, he had written many works, but this is outstanding. Why is it so outstanding? Gitanjali means Gita, to sing. Anjali is to bow, to pay respect with the songs to God. So Gitanjali actually is a conversation between him and God. If I have not given you the background, you would not realize why is it Gitanjali was so outstanding. I could not read Gitanjali in one shot through, you know. It was so moving that I had to stop in between. It was so moving. During that time, he lost his father, he lost his wife, he lost his daughter, and he lost his son continuously like this. So the pain of losing was so immense. He was a poet. He was a writer. He was a philosopher. He was very much deeply religious man. And in order for him to express his pain, his suffering, he chose to express it in true language. But the kind of language that he chose was a distilled language out of suffering. So I have not read any work that is so moving spiritually as well as emotionally. Usually you get to read emotional stuff, you know, that you weep and you cry. But this one is, apart from being emotional, it was also religiously emotional. It was like you happened to sneak in, a man was speaking to God. And Gitanjali was the conversation that Rabindranath Tagore had with God. So please, in your valuable time, please find time to read Gitanjali. But I have to tell you that unless and until you have developed yourself spiritually, religiously enough to be able to truly appreciate the essence that he was delivering, that he was sharing with us. I don't even imagine that he meant to share his song of Anjali to God, to us. But it so happened that it was collected and it was published. Don't forget that he wrote in English. Don't forget that he was a Bengali. You know, for those of you who do not know Bengali, Bengali is an ethnic group that lived in India before the time of the arrival of the Aryan. The Aryan, that is the Buddha, also belonged to this Aryan. Aryan came from northwest of India and occupied India. The local people moved in two directions, one to the west, and Bengali, this Bengal is that one portion of the original people who moved east of India. Another group moved southward. That's why they are called Dravidian, the South Indians, and these people are in the eastern part of India. But Bengal as a state was divided into two. The eastern part, more Muslims become the eastern Bengal now became Bangladesh, and the western Bengal, which is in the eastern part of India, now become part of India. So you will be confused to say West Bengal, but in the eastern part of India. This group of people, these pockets of people, the Bengali, supposed to be very high level of DNA. They have a saying that what the Bengalis say today, only tomorrow the Indian people will understand. That's how far advanced in their mentality. And Rabindranath Tagore belonged to this Bengali group. The songs and national anthem in India was composed, written by Rabindranath Tagore. National anthem of Bangladesh also partly, I think, composed by Rabindranath Tagore, because Bangladesh still speaks Bengali, So imagine that Rabindranath Tagore chose to write Gitanjali in English. It is his second language, but he had mastered the language so much so that he could express from the deepest level of being himself to the higher level being of God. So the language which is expressed in Gitanjali was superb. You feel as though you are just hiding in a corner, peeping to see how this man is conversing to God. Very beautiful piece of art that he left behind him to us. And because of that, Gitanjali was awarded. With this work, Rabindranath Tagore received Nobel Peace Award in Literature. He was the first Asian man to actually receive a Nobel Peace Award. So don't take it lightly. I was not able to appreciate Gitanjali when I was a student in India because I was too young. I was immature spiritually. My English was not at the standard to be able to appreciate that level of English that he was expressing. And more importantly, I think I did not have the level of understanding of to appreciate the spiritual height. So you need to be practicing. You need to be practicing at least certain level of spiritual development to be able to appreciate, truly appreciate the kind of beautiful language that was expressed. I use the word distill. กลั่นใช่ไหมภาษาไทยว่ากลั่นใช่ไหมน้ำเนี่ยมันกลั่นออกมาน่ะ It is not choosing the language in such a way, but it was the language that has been distilled out of suffering. Wasn't that beautiful? So beautiful. It is one piece of art that Rabindranath Tagore left behind him for us. During that time, during that period of time in the world time, he lived between 1860 to 1940. That's just before Second World War. At that particular time, Europe was at the height of their what you call artistic development. So there were countries. Imagine that you have this bust of Rabindranath Tagore in Ireland, in England, in London, in Czechoslovakia, in Hungary, you know, in the square open space, you know, you have his bust, which marked the height of artistic appreciation that was going on in Europe at that time. So there were so many countries in Europe where they actually highlighted and casted his image as a mark of respect, mark of reverence to this great man. Through Gitanjali, I dare not translate. There must be some Thai version of Gitanjali, you know, but I have to admit that I don't dare to translate his work, because I feel that his work is so superb in the distilled language, and also at the height of his spiritual experience, his exposure to God, the kind of language that he used. It is beyond me, beyond my ability. So I can only tell you, share with you how much I appreciate this work. สำหรับคนไทยนะหลวงแม่ขอโทษนะคะแปลไม่ได้ไม่คิดว่าตัวเองจะมีความสามารถพอทั้งที่แปลงานมาแล้ว27เล่มนะ I translated 27 books and I translated many sutra, but I don't dare translate Gitanjali because of this complexity and the height of spiritual expression that was used by Rabindranath Tagore. But I took this opportunity to share with you my deep appreciation for this man who created the space of learning. And I happened to be there as a student in Shantiniketan. It is later on known as Vishwabharati University, but it started as Shantiniketan, home of love, and it started as a school, starting from kindergarten. I think this is only one place that you have kindergarten, you have primary school, you haveชั้นมัธยมนะ what you call secondary school, and you have university. You have BA up to PhD. I think Shantiniketan is so unique in that sense, you know. And many of the Thai people particularly go to Shantiniketan to study art. Just like my youngest son, he went to Shantiniketan to study art. So it's known for art, but actually together with art is philosophy and also music. So they have Sangeet Bhawan, Department of Music. They have Kala Bhawan, Faculty of Art, and the one that I studied is called Siksha Bhawan, Siksha Bhawan, like that, you know. So I am happy to be the product of the land where this great man expressed his care for education, that education must be child-centered. Later on, we talk much about this, you know, but it was started in his time. This kind of education was started in his time, and I am proud, I am happy to be product of that university, to share with you the greatness of Rabindranath Tagore, the greatness of his work expressed in Gitanjali, and the greatness of the land where he now turned it into university, and now it is under government. It's handed over to the government. So it is one of the 5 major universities in India. Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ